Welcome to the Happy Customer channel. This week's guest is David Finley of SPS Worldwide to discuss working with luxury brand customers, hosted by Peter Meir in Miami's Villain Theater.
Hello, and welcome to the Happy Customer channel. My name is Peter Meir, and we are at Villain Theater in Little Haiti, Miami. Each week, we'll be learning about customer care from experts, learning their tips and best practices. Today's lesson is luxury brands. When you're dealing with any brand, you have to accept responsibility. When they're talking to you, even though you might be working at the front desk or on a phone, that person you're talking to expects you to be the CEO of the company, for your last name to be the company's name. So you've got to accept that responsibility, but take it as a positive. You get to have that confidence, that swagger, to be able to represent the brand. This big giant company, well, yeah, that's me. And I'll be able to answer anything that you need. All right, I'm here with David Finley from SPS Worldwide. He works with luxury clients, being able to create amazing displays and being able to show off their products. Thank you so much for being here, David.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the one percenters, okay? The very fancy luxury clients here. What is it like?
Work with their designers. You get an idea what they're looking for and asking us for suggestions.
Right.
And it's nice working with them.
Does more money with the client, does it mean that they have more expectations or a little bit more detail?
Depending on the project.
Okay.
But there's a lot of different scenarios that we do.
So you've been working for over 20 years with SPS.
Yes.
Which is amazing. I mean, obviously a lot of things change in 20 years. What are some of the changes that have happened since you started with them?
Technology, product development.
So technology, you mean like, especially in the displays, like they're using LEDs now, they're doing video.
A lot of LED lighting we do, and a lot of fabrication.
Okay.
Fabrication keeps getting better.
Right. You can 3D print anything now, or whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Right.
So tell me about something we're trying to teach here with our episode today is about representing the brand. Like, how do you get a client and then make sure that you create something that's in their voice? Because that's really what you have to do. You have to create something that meets their expectations. It's almost like you have to play you're them for the day, right? So how do you do that?
They come to us.
Okay.
A lot of times with renderings,
Right.
and we have designers on staff.
Mm-hmm.
And we start holding their hand in the beginning, getting a feel of what they want to do. A lot of things they might want to do might not be physically possible, but we'll always come up with alternatives to help better improve or better it. I don't want to say that, but
no, that makes sense. So you mentioned holding their hand. Is that because you got to earn the trust kind of in the beginning?
Well, you have to earn their trust, and that's how we do business. I mean, that's what sets us apart.
Right.
They have an idea, and we have to make that idea come to life.
Yeah.
Or make it even better.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's it. Right. So they're going to come in with an idea, but if you just did their idea, it wouldn't be enough, right?
Well, in a lot of cases, ours would be better.
Right. So tell me about your experience then when you got started then with the advertising.
Okay. I had my own business at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
It was called Finley Stat Service. We started making photostats.
Right. Okay.
And with chemicals and everything, and then technology started changing. And we went more into the photographic business.
Right.
We do black and white murals and all kinds of printing. And then it went into digital. And then we kept changing the names from Finley Stat to Finley Photograph.
Finley Digital. I guess it.
Yeah. So
that's great. So you actually really need to be kind of cutting edge in your
industry. Always. Yeah. Especially when the digital came, I had to hire a high-tech person to run it. Most people don't know digital.
Right.
And we were like the first ones to get Canon copiers and print from a computer to a copier. So a long history.
And so, is it almost like keeping up with the Joneses? I mean,
we're a leader.
Yeah,
you're pretty much a leader.
You're the leader. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so that requires
a lot of feedback from clients too.
Oh, okay.
Because
they'll look at something. Yeah.
We do a lot of business presentations for the clients. We work through the night.
Oh, okay.
We work weekends.
Wow.
To make it happen.
Yeah.
They want advertising. They want everything yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Even today with luxury brands, same idea.
The same thing.
It's just a different level.
Wow. Okay, so there's some risk with doing that, right? When you're investing in new technologies and always kind of being on that bleeding edge. How do you handle that?
You gotta do your research.
Yeah, right.
You have to do your research.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really great.
And so you can buy a piece of equipment and then you say, we're going to get a return on our investment on this piece of equipment before it gets outdated. So you really have to know what you're doing. And then you have to market your company.
Awesome. Okay, so everyone wants to know the juicy stuff. What happens when you get a client who's impossible to work with? I mean, what are your options?
You have to understand, is it possible to do it?
Yeah.
You got to tell them up front. I mean,
Okay.
certain clients, they'll ask you for the world. You know, everybody has great ideas, but is it physically possible to do it?
Right.
A lot of cases, it's not. You know, they
Yeah.
draw things and oh, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's physically impossible,
Right.
especially in a given amount of time.
Yes. Okay. So.
And then budget.
Okay.
Well, we only want to spend this to get that. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
That's good.
Payments,
Mm-hmm.
their credit. I mean, it all.
That ties into that.
Yeah.
So your advice is
We don't refuse anybody
okay.
unless they're asking for the impossible.
Right. And your advice into dealing with that is to nip it in the bud, like
Yeah.
make sure they know it from the first meeting,
Up front.
right up front. Yeah, because then you don't want to be in the situation that you promised something and now you
Because
can't
we
deliver.
use outside vendors to do the manufacturing,
Oh, right.
and in a lot of cases, it's 50% up front.
Yeah.
We can't.
Oh, right.
We can't bank that kind of money,
Yeah.
and if they don't want to do it, then we can't do business.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's kind of, so you have some natural kind of filters there too. So
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
all on you.
Well, we do an estimate, and it's included in the estimate.
So we mentioned earlier that you always want to be saying yes and making things happen, but when you do have to say no, how do you do it?
Well, we don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right.
And if you
Okay.
feel you got a client that's only looking to take advantage,
Yeah.
you know,
Then it doesn't work.
doesn't work.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'm trying to think
And, or
of
they pick your brain and go somewhere else.
Oh,
And once you catch on to that, you don't want that client. Give
No.
that client to your competition.
yeah, it's their problem.
Let it be their problem.
Yeah, that's really good
There's
advice.
a lot of
too.
variable.
Yeah, when you think of a client who's almost using the interview for like a research
Yeah,
purpose,
right.
right? And have no intention.
You catch on after a while.
Yeah. What are the kind of like signs of that? So if people are trying to know if they're getting hustled, how would you pick up on it? Like, is there any key words that are kind of like maybe the types of questions they're asking, or what I would think is that maybe they don't put any money up. It's all
you'll do several different estimates
Wow.
for different projects. Then none of them develop. Say, why am I wasting my time?
okay. So it's more like a time frame, and like we can go this far,
Yeah.
and before you're like, okay, well, something needs to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting, and
I mean, you want to get paid for your work, and
yeah.
and that's why the first question is, what is your budget?
Mhm.
What is your deadline?
And when you mentioned the luxury brands, you kind of mentioned a lot of them are international brands as well too.
Mhm.
Is there any difference with that? I mean, having to communicate across the world, and how do you deal with that?
Most of it's done in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Or in the United States.
right. Oh,
Yeah,
right. That
so-
makes sense.
yeah.
So it doesn't.
Bulgary's international.
Right.
Italian company,
Yeah.
but everything's worked out in Manhattan.
But was there anything to being in Manhattan like beforehand? Maybe it was like the prestige, or like or a Manhattan address or a Manhattan phone number, like saying you're Beverly Hills or something. You know, like yeah.
Definitely going way back. I mean,
Yeah.
my business had 13 locations. Each location had to be in the same building as the client or next door.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
That's
changed.
no,
You know,
right.
You're talking 50 years ago.
Yeah, but I guess back then they were thinking like, I don't want to have to hunt you down. I want you next
Well,
door,
because
down the
they
hallway.
Yeah, so they wanted to know they could come down
Yeah.
into the shop if they need something. They could wait for it in a lot of cases.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's incredible. And so at that point, you were working around the clock. I mean, what was your sleep schedule? I mean, you know, what was your life like? Yeah. Yeah, you were just
I was very devoted to my business.
and a night owl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
So-
I would stay a lot of nights around the clock, but I had people that I paid overtime.
right.
And
Okay, cool.
they loved it.
Yeah.
For a time and a half.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. So the incentive was there.
What's up, happy people? We're at the Fendi store in the Design District. This is David Finley's spot. I'm gonna see if we can talk to some people about luxury.
I like how Design District really incorporated a lot of luxury plus artwork, which it really brings attention to the people. Instead of just having, just luxury. They incorporated it with a lot of architecture, art, modern stores, and having like all the added luxury. it's nice. It's a nice place to walk around, and if you make it visually appealing, you'll bring in more customers. Right now, I'm checking out Fendi,
Awesome.
and I really like how everything is set up, and the inside of the stores. Customers service, like by the people who work inside the stores, very nice, very attentive, and
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool. We actually talked to the designer, David Finley, his company, SPS Worldwide. They do the designs in the windows for Fendi. So that's why we came to this store to kind of talk about it. So what do you think so far of like the design of the store?
Well, I think, first of all, when you walk by the store, this bright yellow just catches your eye, right from the get-go. So I think a lot of people, like I stopped by here to take pictures. So immediately if you're here taking pictures, you're gonna walk by to see the purses, everything that they have in store.
Yeah.
So I think they chose, like, even from the outside, very good architecture and color theory so that they could really attract the customers.
The advertising agency, the name of the advertising agency was McGarry Bowen, very top creative agency in New York City and worldwide. And they came to us and they wanted to do branding for J.W. Marriott for a griffin, which is a bird.
Yeah, right.
But it's a cross between an eagle and a hawk.
Right.
And it has its own look. And we branded it on cloth, vinyl, wood, glass,
Everything.
everything you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I loved it. This went on for months, maybe almost a year.
Okay.
All different projects came in and we would do that. And they finally came to me and said, well, can you do something in 3D?
Okay.
So I said, oh, I'm sure we can. Yeah, I knew we could. I just look it up and just do the research.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. 3D. Why not?
I mean, they didn't ask price, they didn't ask time, because they knew that I had to get back to them.
Yeah.
And communicated with them throughout the whole
Yeah.
project.
And you build up the trust by getting that logo on the other thing. And so
Yeah.
they're like, why not?
Yeah.
Just do 3D.
Exactly. We actually, we actually had to burn it on, so it's kind of interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's also like the power, like, of saying yes to
Yes.
something, right?
Yeah.
The client comes to you and with some crazy idea, maybe it's a good idea, but you never worked in that field before, and you've got to say yes and figure it out yourself. That's amazing stuff.
They gave a sketch of what they want it to look like,
Yeah.
but you know, when you do it in 3D, you have to adapt it to 3D.
Right. Yeah. Oh, right. It's not going to look like how it looks from the spot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of detail. I mean, I have a picture of it. You wouldn't believe the detail that's in it.
Oh my gosh.
And when we started, there was too much detail. There was not enough detail. Oh, this detail is fine. Okay, just change this wing, change that. So
Right.
there's a lot of going back and forth. Once it was approved, that was it. We got a contract.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, eventually we got a contract.
I'll make you want to visit now. I want to visit David's Griffin.
Yeah.
To go see
It's
that.
not the biggest thing in the world. They're 14 inches high.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like a Maltese Falcon. That's pretty cool. And so you mentioned working with designers. I know some designers, they talk about the headache of the revisions, and it has to be approved by this and that. How do you deal with that? I mean, that's kind of a headache.
Patience.
Yeah. Are you like a Buddhist monk?
Patience is a virtue. You're at their mercy.
Okay.
You can't produce till they know what they want.
So do you consider yourself like a very patient, calm person?
Oh,
Did you learn how to do that?
Oh,
Yeah.
You're dealing with all kinds of crazy personalities.
Right.
You have to be. Otherwise, get out of the business.
Right. That's it.
And you can't be nasty to a client.
Yeah.
And you have to have personality. You have to keep the client happy.
Yeah. And is there a specific place that you learned how to do that, or you feel like that was just cutting your teeth in the industry?
But growing up in the industry.
Yeah. That's interesting. Did you have family who were in the industry?
It's a family business.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Was it your
my father and several brothers?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had the team.
And then then eventually my two cousins and I bought them out and continued the business.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and do you feel like you modeled yourself after anyone that you?
My father, my uncle.
Yeah. What was?
I learned a lot from them.
What was some of the lessons? Like, what are some of the things that you're like, okay, this is how you deal with this?
Never try to sell anything you can't produce.
Okay.
That was my uncle teaching me that.
Yeah.
And because I was going out to sell, and he says, actually, I was going out to sell when I was young, and he pulled me back and said, learn what you're selling before you sell it.
Oh,
So
right.
that's been the model throughout my life,
Yeah.
and it really helped me.
So what people say is like fake it till you make it is not the truth because they'll know they'll catch you faking it.
Yeah, you get away maybe one time, but you won't get repeat business.
Oh, that's it.
They'll read the honesty in you as a salesperson.
Yeah.
And a salesperson, customer service person,
Yeah.
involved with production,
And so, what were some things that you learned from Mr. Deutsch?
and learn creative thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how he would just lay down on the table, maybe an hour or so, and okay, put his idea. Now this is during the night. This is like at midnight,
Okay.
and then okay, we're going to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And he would come up with a concept. And
So all hours. It wasn't like
all hours. No.
That's interesting because it's a type of like genius creative. It's not like, oh, let me think about it and let me take all this time. It's like, no, you have a demand too. So it's not just thinking of something creative, but thinking of it now.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
that is really a kind of genius thing. Did you see him stressed out? Did he seem different than other people?
He was pretty calm most
Calm
of the
guy.
time.
Yeah.
And very good natured.
Oh,
He
right.
took very good care of the people that work for him, and
Yeah.
he's a really great man.
But he just
He actually sent me a wedding gift.
Oh my gosh, that's
My
so
first
cool.
marriage.
That's awesome. What was it?
Great guy. I don't remember the first marriage. I think it was a play or something. It was the thought that counted.
Yeah, totally, and especially for him.
I'm not my
That's so
third
cool.
marriage, so.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. We'll cover all of them in subsequent episodes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're
Give it up for David Finley from SPS Worldwide, teaching us all about being able to work around the clock and get everything done for your clients. That's amazing.
Get it done.
Thank you so much.